So with so many great college football games, we can't forget that some of the nation's biggest recruiting battles are still taking place. And if we're going to talk about recruiting, well then we have to talk about the day the Florida Gators had yesterday, where they didn't get just one addition to their 2023 class, they got two, which vaults them inside the top 10 recruiting classes of the nation. Today, we need to talk about what a big win it was that Florida got both Dijon Johnson and Bryce Thornton. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. First and foremost, are you excited that Florida gets both of these additions? And then secondly, do you believe that the Florida Gators are able to pull the number one cornerback in the nation, Cormani McClain? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below as those interactions are massive. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, we need to understand that what Florida is doing on the recruiting trail right now is very impressive. And whenever they made all the offseason hires, one of the things we talked about at length was the importance for Florida to be able to lock down its own state. Whenever you look at the top 300 prospects per the 24/7 Sports composite, there are so many guys located in the state of Florida. In fact, 57 of the top 300 are located in the state of Florida, with 58 coming in at number 305 overall, just to give you a picture as to how talented the state of Florida is. So if you're Miami, if you're Florida, if you're Florida State, you know the priority of making sure you're keeping a strong presence in your home state. You need to recruit nationally. We've talked about this at length. College football recruiting, it's national now, and you must maintain a national presence. But in the event you are a Florida, a Texas, you must also be cognizant that you're keeping a heavy state presence because of all the talent located in your state. So whenever we look at Florida's class right now, they have 22 prospects, 17 of which hail from the state of Florida, which really highlights the importance of locking up your own state, something Napier and staff are doing quite successfully right now. And then on top of that, they're having great national success as well. But now let's talk about the additions they got yesterday, and we're going to start with Dijon Johnson, a top 100 prospect in the nation and a former Ohio State Buckeye commit. Now, Dijon Johnson has the ability to play several different positions in the secondary. 24/7 Sports has him listed as a safety. He comes in 6'1", 190 pounds, and I think that's probably where he'll play at the next level. But like I said, when you watch the film, he's got the ability to play several different positions in the secondary. And I think Dijon Johnson is a guy that could really flourish once he gets to the next level due to several different factors. First and foremost, the college strength and conditioning room, and secondly, whoever his position coach will be. Because if he sticks to safety, he's going to be working with Patrick Toney. If they decide to move him to cornerback, he'll be working with Corey Raymond. Either way you shake it, he's got an excellent position coach. And when we look at this, Corey Raymond and Patrick Toney have been on a tear on the recruiting trail. Look, we know who Corey Raymond is and what he does in terms of recruiting. If you've followed recruiting at all over the past few years, you've probably heard that name. If not, go look him up, and he's got a laundry list of 5 stars that he's got, developed, and sent to the next level. He is that dude. But Patrick Toney is really flexing his muscles right now, and it's not relegated to safeties. In fact, if we look, he was a big part in Kelby Collins choosing the Florida Gators, or at least he's credited with it per 24/7 Sports. So, if you're the Florida Gators, you have to be pleased with where your class is heading, and it really takes me back to the summer where there was some concern amongst Florida Gators fans because you looked around the nation and so many recruiting classes were starting to take off, namely the Miami Hurricanes. Fast forward to now, and Florida sits as the number 8 class in the nation, as a top 10 class, and is able to capture a lot of positive momentum, and I think Dijon Johnson is going to be a great way to continue that positive momentum. But it wasn't just Dijon Johnson yesterday. They also doubled down and got 3-star safety Bryce Thornton from Georgia. So now you look, and we talk about the importance of locking up your own state. Check, Florida did that yesterday, but then they also went to a rival state and got a prospect they love in Bryce Thornton. Check and check. If you're looking at how the Florida Gators staff is doing right now, look, they're doing about as well as you could have hoped, both in terms of on-field result, trying to get the team where they want it to go, building something positive for the future, and especially on the recruiting trail. This is an example of a team able to bottle up some positive momentum and able to utilize it down the stretch. I'm really interested to see where they continue to go from here, because these are 2 huge additions, and you can definitely tell Florida's trying to bolster its secondary, because right now they currently have Dijon in the class of 2023, who's a 4-star top 100 player. After that, you have Jakeem Jackson, 4-star top 150 player in the nation, also a defensive back. You have Jordan Castell, 4-star top 250 player, defensive back. You have Sharif Denson, 4-star top 250 player, defensive back. You have Aaron Gates, 4-star top 350 player who's rated as an athlete, but will probably play the defensive back position at Florida. Once again, proving that you are having a heavy emphasis on the defensive back position. And then finally, Bryce Thornton, the 3-star, who, by the way, watch Bryce Thornton this year. He could be a guy that raises up these recruiting boards. I really think he's got a lot of positivity to his game. There's a reason why so many big colleges are after this young man. He is a baller. But now we have to ask the question, where does Florida go from here? You've had all of this success and you already have such a great defensive back haul. Are the Florida Gators done in that department? And the answer is no. Because in Florida resides the number 1 defensive back in the nation, the number 2 player if you look at the 24/7 Sports composite, Cormani McClain. And the Florida Gators, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Miami Hurricanes, and any institution that can is doing everything they can to try and garner the attention of McClain, because he is that elite of a prospect. Now, the Florida Gators are going to do everything in their power to try and secure this commitment from McClain. Number 1, because he's in the state of Florida. Number 2, because he's that talented. And number 3, because you have the recruiters to do so. You have Corey Raymond, you have Patrick Toney, 2 guys where you feel like you can send them into any living room in the nation, and you've got a good chance at walking out with a commitment. So this is going to be a battle that's interesting to watch, because I talk at length that I love these recruiting battles that feature heavyweight recruiters. And if we're looking at a Cormani McClain, that's exactly what we're going to see. If you look at Florida, they're going to be sending Corey Raymond after him. If you look at Alabama, Travaris Robinson, who also has ties to the state of Florida, another individual like Corey Raymond, if you go back and look at their recruiting history, that's someone who they're able to recruit at a high level. They're able to develop guys at a high level, and they have a history of sending dudes to the NFL. Can't wait to see those guys battle it out for Cormani McClain, but they're not alone. You look at DVD at Miami, another guy who's a hell of a recruiter and is sure to try and get his piece in before it's all said and done. So Florida's not done at the defensive back position, which is crazy to say, even though they are already so successful with 6 defensive backs in the class. They have their eyes on the number 1 cornerback in the nation, and deservedly so. You would love to keep him home because he's such a gifted player. I can't wait to see how that Cormani McClain battle ends up, but really, I'm interested in hearing from you. Do you believe the Florida Gators can maintain a top 10 recruiting class from here on out? Can't wait to hear from you. That's it. See ya.